Fight, fight, fight. Everybody loves a good training camp fight. Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports filling in on today's episode of Atlanta Falcons Today. This is obviously a big storyline coming out of Sunday's practice, and thought we'd react a little bit further. There were some comments that Michael Penix made today, obviously the new face of the franchise. So a lot to get into here, but guys, we are literally right there. We are 5 subscribers away from 37,000 here on the channel. Literally, if you click subscribe right now, you could be number 37,000. So we appreciate all the growth. If you want Falcons content throughout training camp, the Chat Sports team has you covered until we have our next permanent host in place with PD exiting, but we will continue to crank out these videos, keep you guys up to date with everything surrounding the Atlanta Falcons. All right, let me kind of just start with this. And, you know, my stance on training camp fights is, I usually don't mind them because they're entertaining. I think it shows the intensity and listen, these guys, you got to be a little crazy to play football, and these guys haven't been able to hit each other in a long time, and so you get into these practices, and there's a lot of built-up testosterone for these guys, no question about it, but you got to know where that line is, right? And, you know, I don't know if the lines were crossed here, but I think it's one of those things when a fight happens early in camp, what you don't want it to do is to boil over and then have some more down the road that kind of just get out of hand. Marc Raimondi had some notes here from ESPN. He said that on one series with the team's first team offense going up against the second team defense, James Pearce got into it with left guard Matthew Bergeron, whose helmet came off. There was pushing and shoving between multiple players. The center was involved as well. Leonard Floyd got involved, came to James Pearce's defense. Just one play later, tensions rose again. Pearce got into it with right tackle Kaleb McGary, who was screaming at Pearce with his helmet off. Once again, Floyd came in to try and separate things with more pushing and shoving all around. I do like the Leonard Floyd addition, by the way. He's just kind of veteran. He's been there, done that, so he can help maybe, you know, rein in a guy like James Pearce, understand kind of the balance of going hard but maybe not crossing a line. And look, I could see it now. I can hear it now. It's going to be discussed. James Pearce, character concerns, major problem. That's why he was sliding down draft boards in the pre-draft process. And listen, we heard a lot, right? And from a talent standpoint, I thought he was one of the 15 best players in this class, and might have fallen out of the first round entirely had Atlanta not traded back in to go up and get him. Certainly a very talented pass rusher, but you heard he wasn't the best of teammates. Maybe he didn't have the best practice habits. Maybe he caused issues during practice. And, you know, you don't want to overreact to something like this, but it's kind of not ideal if you're James Pearce, where you already come in with this label, and then early on in camp, you're kind of sparking a couple of training camp fights with the opposing offensive line, which in a vacuum, I don't hate, because I don't mind when my trenches players play with a little extra juice, a little extra intensity, and even a little nastiness. Like, I think you need some of that. You need that edginess to be effective in the NFL, especially as a pass rusher, as an offensive lineman. So I don't really mind it. It just is, of course, a player who comes in with labels that were attached to him in the pre-draft process. So it'll certainly be interesting to see, you know, as time goes on, like, is he a guy that his teammates like? Is he someone that has earned respect? Because I do think there's a level of probably annoyance from veterans on this team. Like, okay, this guy's a rookie. He came in with these labels. He just got here. It's almost like you have to earn the right to kind of cause an issue at a practice. Like, has he yet? I don't know if that's the case or not, but in general, I will say this team has been starving for edginess, good pass rushers, and they're hoping James Pearce can provide that. So I don't mind the aggressiveness. I don't mind the intensity. Again, I think you just have to know where that line is and understanding where it is to not cross. And I think that's where a guy like Leonard Floyd can come in and kind of spread his wealth of experience, be like, hey, man, like, keep playing with that chippiness, but, you know, there are teammates too. Let's not cause an issue that's going to linger long term. Jeff Ulbrich, the Falcons defensive coordinator, via that article from ESPN, was saying this, quote, "We're trying to develop a culture, a style of play for sure, and part of that is the violence with which we play and aggression, the urgency and all of that. Today, at times, it went a little too far, and we've got to learn how to manage that. You're going to get agitated, and especially when you're playing a really good defense, the offense is going to get very agitated. So you've got to anticipate punches being thrown, things being said, people getting pushed. In those moments, you got to thrive and not retaliate, so it's a good lesson to be learned today. More from Marc Raimondi saying that Ulbrich said it'll be a major learning experience for Pearce, who has been playing extremely hard from the jump in practice and seems to have a chip on his shoulder, which all of that I think we all like. I think it's certainly accurate that this is something he can learn from, but some of the whispers coming out of Tennessee was that he didn't practice hard. They thought he took plays off. So the fact that the end of that reporting there was like, this is a guy who's put his head down, gone to work, play with that aggressiveness and intensity. Those are all good things for Falcons fans. Like, those are things that should get you excited. Again, it's just, where is that line? It can get a little muddy sometimes, but understanding how to balance, aggressiveness versus being over the top, I think that's a challenge for any young player. So certainly don't have any major issue with anything that has happened so far. All right, guys, get yourself a Michael Penix jersey on sale for a limited time only at chatsports.com/MPJ shirt. We know everybody can't afford jerseys, so how about a little jersey action? A little bit cheaper, Nike authentic there. You still get the number on the front and the back, the Penix Jr. label as well. Chatsports.com/MPJ shirt. We'll be sure to put that link in the comments and description for you guys. Get yourself a Michael Penix Jr. jersey today. Okay, here's what I like to kind of rehash some of this a little bit more. I love the Leonard Floyd addition for this team in general because still a good pass rusher, veteran player. And I like that he can kind of be the leader in that young group because it's not just James Pearce, it's Jalen Walker as well. And then on the other side, you've got Bergeron and Kaleb McGary defending each other as well. You want to build that camaraderie, and it starts with your position group, right? You're in these meetings all day, and you build those tight-knit groups. Obviously, this Falcons offensive line is a good one. The only real change there is at center, and Newsel played a decent amount last year when Drew Dahlman went down with the injury. But these guys have played together for a long time, and it's a good test for these new young pass rushers for Atlanta to go up against. So, yeah, you're going to get agitated, like Ulbrich said, but that doesn't mean you need to stop bringing the intensity. It's just like, hey, don't need to spark a fight every single day in camp. If it happens here and there, that's one thing. But I am intrigued. I am fascinated to see if this pass rush can finally be productive because it just has not been for years and years and years. Matt Judon last year didn't work out. So I wasn't surprised when they double dipped in the draft with Jalen Walker and Jalen Walker and James Pearce Jr. while also signing Leonard Floyd, a guy who's had 8 to 9 sacks the last several years. Now, I also like to hear from the quarterback when these situations pop up in camp because everybody looks toward the leader of the team, and typically that's the quarterback. And Michael Penix was asked about it on Tuesday, and he said, I like it. The energy, but we got to be smart. We got to be a disciplined team. Obviously you love the energy, you love the competitiveness, but we can't do that stuff in the game, so it ain't no need to come out here and do it on practice and slow practice down. We missed out on some reps at the end of practice for some of those developmental guys. It's good to see the energy. We love the energy, but we got to be more controlled. And again, that's kind of the domino effect, right, of knowing where the line is, because then if you're starting to derail the practice, you're cutting into reps, you don't want that. This is still a relatively young football team in key spots, especially a guy like Michael Penix. He needs every rep he can get. So, let's just hope that this isn't something that boils over moving forward. Sounds like today there was no issue up to that point whatsoever. And listen, as long as injuries don't occur, as long as you're not derailing things in a major way, keep playing with that chippiness. Like this Falcons defense, I think has been kind of soft in recent years. So if they got some dogs playing on that side of the ball moving forward, that's ultimately going to be a good thing. But like Penix said, we don't need personal foul penalties on game days, on Sundays. You don't want to have a sack on third down and then do something egregious that extends a drive. So finding that balance, maturing a little bit, that was the question with James Pearce coming out. Is he mature enough? Can he be trusted? And we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out long term. But definitely liking kind of the mindset he's playing with overall. How do you guys feel about the fights at Sunday's practice when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons? Give us your thoughts in the comment section down below and let us know how you guys feel. And again, overall, I think it's a net positive. You're bringing that edginess. You're bringing that intensity. This defense, especially up front, has not been a very stout unit in terms of productive and attitude, and maybe that's shifting a little bit as we move forward. And having a guy like Leonard Floyd to know when to rein things in a little bit, I think is going to be very, very important as well. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. We will take a look at some of the top training camp storylines so far, some other action that's been happening on the field. Kyle Pitts has reportedly had a pretty good camp. We all want to see Michael Penix take the next step as well. So we'll get you guys caught up on everything surrounding the Falcons in terms of on-field stuff tomorrow beyond this fight. My name is Harrison Graham. Thanks for tuning in today's episode of Falcons Today. Hit that subscribe button on the way out the door, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.